I'm just joking.
Here you go.
Hello. No, it's splendid.
Please.
Yeah.
Join me.
Yeah, that's it. Works. Right, okay.
So, the first lie actually I told on stage was I said that Sylvester McCoy is joining me because many people don't know this. I didn't know this yesterday, but Sylvester McCoy is actually not your real name.
No, I'm not the real McCoy.
No, he was born as Percy James Patrick Kent Smith, and you adopted Sylvester McCoy without the R when you first walked on stage as a comedic act. And I read a few things about your comedic act that you did when you started out acting. And I just really want to hear it coming from you directly, because this sounds so insanely funny that I have to know everything about this.
Well, so what do you mean? Because I used to set light to my head, explode bombs in my chest, bang nails up my nose, stick ferrets down my trousers?
Yes.
Try and break the world record for breaking world records? Yes, I was in a show called the Ken Campbell Roadshow. Ken Campbell Roadshow. Now, we toured all over Germany, and we were very successful at that time in the 70s. We were known as the Beatles of theatre then. They called us that in German press. And we got invited to go to Israel, which was very exciting. We thought, oh, great. And so the Ken Campbell Roadshow, when we got to Israel, they realized they'd make a huge mistake. It was supposed to be the Glenn Campbell Roadshow. Now, he's a singer who sang lots of lovely songs. And so they got us, and we did some wild things. And one of the wild things I did was I used to blow fire, and I set light to a tree in Jerusalem that Jesus had sat under. So they weren't very pleased with me.
And the best thing is some parts of this act you have incorporated into your Doctor Who character. When you first came onto the show, you started out as a bit more of a light-hearted, lightweight, funny Doctor Who, but then it changed and you became much more serious and much more sound as the character. Can you tell us maybe a little bit about how you got on the show, how you were approached, how you did go through the casting process, when you first heard that you got the role, and how things changed over the course of your 3 years?
Well, as luck would have it, I was at the National Theatre in the Pied Piper. It was a musical play about the Pied Piper. I was the Pied Piper. And I believe the producer came and saw the show and went back to the office and told them, I've found my new doctor. But that was only the beginning of it. I had to go through screen tests. And so I had also, apart from doing lots of theatre, lots of children's television. And the BBC knew me for that. And the powers that be said, well, we don't think he can be strong enough. He's too funny to play the doctor. And so the producer had me do a screen test. He had 2 other actors do the screen test. But he made sure the 2 other actors were not right for the doctor. That's because he wanted me, and so he was going to get me, and that's how I got in. I passed the screen test. And I became the doctor. Yeah. That was how it happened, really. I mean, the other was, it was a sunny day in London town. Quite an unusual thing. And when I went for the audition to speak to him, and I was wearing my hat like this. And he said, oh, I like your hat like that. I want to have that in Doctor Who. And I said, well, I go with the hat. That's another reason why I got Doctor Who, because they wanted the hat, so I went with it.
I would like to direct the next question to the audience. Does someone have a question tickling under their fingernails for Sylvester McCoy? Please.
Well,
walk to the mic or wait until the mic walks towards you.
All right, hang on. Why don't I do this? This would be easier. Because then the problem is... Hello? Anyone out there? They've all abandoned us. I'm coming down now. I'm going down the stairs. I'm on the last stair, and I'm about to turn round, and I'm about to hope I can go through this curtain here. I'm struggling with the curtain. Here I am, and here I am. And I made it. Wow, I made it. Now, this gentleman here, NASA. Have you been to NASA?
No, actually not.
All right, okay.
But we've met before. I was in London at the London Comic Con in winter.
Yeah.
And I was at the Three Doctors photo op.
All right, okay. Yeah. Oh, good. Oh,
we met like 10 seconds.
All right. Oh, yes, I remember.
Long hair, like...
Yeah.
About the hate from the talent. Yeah.
Spoke German.
Yeah.
Or English with a German accent. I remember.
Probably, yeah.
So, what's your question?
Yeah, my question is, do you rather identify as the doctor or as Radagast, if you had to choose?
Oh, that's a horrible choice. I mean, that's like choosing between my two sons, who I love dearly. I love both parts dearly. But also, actors are whores, really. Because an actor falls in love with the role he plays. And then, well, he falls in love with the role he plays, or she plays, and then when they leave that role, they abandon the role and go on to the next role and fall in love with that part. So we're whores, really. Anyone else want to ask a question? Put your hand up and I'll come over to you. Right? No? You put your hand up nearly. Oh, you want to answer a question? Get out of the way. Move. Here. And ask me a question.
I cannot speak English.
But you just did. And better than me. Anyone else want to ask a question? Or shall I go home? Me? All right, coming over. Make way, coming through. Right. Where are you? Hands up. Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
So, there have been so many new doctors. Who is your favorite Doctor Who besides you, of course?
Well, very difficult again, because the living ones are all taller than me, apart from, and if I tell them pick one, the other one will go hit me on the head. But my first Doctor, I saw Patrick Troughton way back in the 60s, and I started watching Doctor Who then, but then I lost touch with it later when I became an actor, because it was on television and it was never repeated. It went out that day and then I was working those nights, so I lost touch. But I never thought I'd end up fancying a doctor. Yeah. Guess who it was? No, I'm not gay. There's only one choice you've got left. Female doctor?
Oh, God.
No, not God. God could be a female. We don't know, really.
Really, though?
What?
What?
Pardon? You haven't answered my question.
I don't know her name, and now I'm embarrassed to my bone. Thank you very much.
All right, okay. Yes, who knows her name? This young lady down here, who's about to be run over.
Jodie Whittaker.
Yes, you win a prize. I have no idea what it is, but anyway.
What was it like playing Radagast?
What was it like being Radagast, the brown? It was great because I was allowed to say Radagast, the brown. Although Peter Jackson did say, not too many R's. So I had to cut my R's out. It was great fun. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was a lovely part. And it was also ecologically, it was like a really great role because, ecology was coming to the fore. People were waking up. Although we knew in the 60s, I knew in the 60s, that if we carried on driving cars with petrol and all that stuff, that the world would end. But it was actually coming out now. And hopefully, you, young generation, you will make the world safe again, because we've fucked it up badly. Excuse my Gaelic. Right, that sword I'm coming through, you thought you were going to be comfortable here, but you're not. Sorry, excuse me. Sit. Do you want a question?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So if you stand up, you're aware. We're down here, I can look down on you. Whereas if you're up there, you can look down on me.
What enemy scares you the most from the Doctor Who universe?
What was the first bit? First bit?
What enemy scares you the most?
Which enemy scares me best? Worst?
The most in a Doctor Who universe.
In the Doctor Who universe? I suppose the Weeping Angels.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they scared me. I was in Sweden. I'd just come out at night time from an English bookshop, and I came out, and there was a church, a steeple, and there was a statue. It looked just like a weeping angel, and so I walked past it like this, trying not to blink, and I walked into the road and nearly got run over by a car. So that was bad. So they are really dangerous. You want to ask a question?
Since you played Radagast, you had to act with CGI animals. So do you prefer working with real animals, or is it easier with CGI? Because
most of the actors I've worked with have been animals. I can tell you that. So no, yeah. Well, I don't know. Did you hear? Did I prefer working with GCI? What? Yeah, computer. Yeah, see, animals or real animals. I didn't mind blue screen, green screen, because I worked with it when it first came in way back in the 70s. I did blue screen, so I didn't mind that. And in that, you kind of have to use your imagination as well with stuff. And I've also I've done kind of improvisations with invisible things. So it doesn't bother me. But Ian McKellen, you might know him, he's a big tall fella. He's a pain in the neck. No, he is, because he's so tall. I worked with him for 3 years touring the world, and then three years in the Hobbit. And all the time I'm going like this, I go, oh dear, God, scene with Ian, what a pain in the neck. Anyway, so I'm wandering all over this place with this question. Peter, Ian, he did 3 months on The Hobbit before I arrived. And then when I arrived, he was so pleased to see me, because when he was working, he was in a hall like as big as this. He was away over there in the corner, and the real set with the dwarfs were all over there. So he never actually acted to them like this, made eye contact. And for 3 months, he had photographs where the dwarfs would say, his eye line would be where the dwarfs would be if he was over there, and he had in his ear a speaker. And so when he first did it, the first day he did it, he cried, "Oh, this is not acting." Anyway, when he saw me, he was so pleased to see me, because we were in the same world, but he looked down on me and I looked up and got a bad neck. But no, I don't mind really. It's imagination.
Hi.
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 No, I'm not.
Oh, sorry.
I'm the child of the 60s.
I wanted to ask how long it took to put on your Radagast costume,
Oh, it's very quick, really. It was just like putting on robes. And it was incredibly quick. What was very sad was when I first went out there, they measured me up and they showed me the robe before it was aged, and it was most elegant and beautiful, and the filigree work and the sewing, all the detail that went into it, and then they destroyed it and then gave it to me. But I know I was lucky. The other dwarfs, they had 4 or 5 hours. I'm sure Graham will have told you that where they were being made up, whereas I only had about an hour, because they just stuck a wig on and glue, the nose, and away we go.
Hi.
I'm not.
Do you have any favorite cast member in Hobbit that you really like playing with? Any other actor?
That's a horrible question. No, I enjoyed working with all of them. Yes. I worked mostly with Ian McKellen, but no, I loved them all, really. I thought they were great. Yeah, no, you can't... the thing is, Peter Jackson was very wise. He was going to bring actors out to New Zealand for 3 years. He had to cast not only who he thought was good for the role, but who was also friendly, wasn't going to be a problem. Now, sometimes there are problem actors. Would you believe it? Problem actors. Anyway, sometimes there are problem actors, but they're so brilliant, you employ them. But not for 3 years, because that would destroy the whole thing. There was one actor, though, that slipped in, but he had been sacked before I got there. He was a young actor from EastEnders, and he thought he was the bee's knees, or he thought he was, he was great, but he was sacked. But so everybody was nice. Are you coming to ask a question?
Yes.
All right.
So I gave up on the sword trick because it didn't entirely work the first time. What is your favorite thing that the TARDIS can do? Like, you know, it has a lot of options where it can travel or how it can shift things. What's your favorite thing?
Oh, right. What's my favorite thing the TARDIS can do? Well, I suppose it is travel, because I love travel. I'm a bit of a traveler myself. So, yes, I suppose the answer is travel. I did an epic journey. My granddaughter was coming into the world 5 years ago this September. 5 years ago, I was at the Edinburgh Festival in a play, and so I'd already pre-packed a suitcase in London. So I got on the train from Edinburgh down to London, grabbed the suitcase, went to Paris, went from Paris to Moscow, branched off to St. Petersburg, came back to Moscow, got on the Trans-Siberian Express right through Russia to Mongolia, then from Mongolia to China, and then from China to Vietnam, and then to Bangkok to welcome my granddaughter into the world. It was a 6-week adventure, and it was glorious. But what was wonderful was, I don't do the Wi-Fi, my agent does all that stuff, I don't even know how it works. But I was sending back messages and little films and photographs of my journey through. And as we were going through Siberia, we stopped at a station, and I got off. Take that skinny person away. Well, it could be an alien from some planet. We've worked together, haven't we? Yes. Anyway, so I got off the train in this for an hour and a half to stretch my legs, and I was greeted by a Dalek in Siberia. I mean, I thought, wow, what would the Daleks doing in Siberia? Then I realized, actually, Daleks would quite like Siberia, wouldn't they? I think. And then when I got to Hanoi, there was a cafe in Hanoi, and it was a TARDIS. It had a TARDIS on its roof in Vietnam. I couldn't believe it. It was wonderful that Doctor Who has spread its glory all over the world. You've got a question now? All right. Well, stop waving. Oh, there you are. Hello.
What was the funniest thing that happened on the set for The Hobbit?
The funniest thing that happened on the set of The Hobbit? I can tell you the most dangerous thing. I can't. The funniest thing, because I mean, most of the time it was funny. You know, I think I was trying to make it funny. I was. They were doing this shot where I was up high on a big rubber ring, and everything was covered in green, and I was on the sledge, and the cameras were down here, and they wanted me to double take like that, you know, because I've been followed by invisible things that we're going to put on later. So I was up there and I was doing all that kind of stuff, and then the cameraman wanted to do the front, and we were doing that, but he couldn't get low enough. Now the floor had padding and then green on top of it, so they got rid of the padding to make it a bit smaller, a bit deeper, so he could get the shot he wanted. And then Andy Serkis was directing this part, and Andy said to me, a bigger double take. So I did a really big double take, like, and it flew off. I was quite high up. I was away, kind of up here. I flew off onto the ground, and of course they'd taken away the padding, so it was pure concrete. So as I hit the ground, I could feel it in my bum. I felt the pain, and then my head. You know, it's slow motion, everything becomes slow motion. My head, I could feel my brain starting to move. It was weird. And luckily I was in New Zealand. And what's New Zealand famous for? Rugby. And one of the rugby players was there, and he dived and caught my head just before, you know, it kind of maybe knocked me out, killed me. I don't know what it was. It was a long way down. It could have concussed me. So he saved my... I was glad, though, that he didn't pick up my head and kick it, you know, because that might have been instinctively, he's a rugby player. All right, yes.
When all your characters would come together in one room, which one would be the funniest and which one would be a grumpy one?
A crappy or a crummy?
Grumpy.
Crappy, oh God, most of them are crappy. Which one would be the funniest? I suppose An Evening with Sylvester McCOY, the Human Bomb. He was pretty funny, pretty outrageous, and that's where I got my name. I did recently a play with called, what was it called now? Owners, with a young lady from Game of Thrones. What's her name? I've forgotten her name. Oh, it's a shame. So I played a really horrible part. It was great fun, but it was horrible. But the name Sylvester McCOY, which is not my real name, it came from a song. And the song is, have you heard about the big strong man who lived in a caravan? Have you heard about the Jeffrey Johnson fight when that great black American beat the white? You can bring all the heavyweights you got, cause we got a little man to beat the lot. He plays the organ in the belfry and he wants to fight Jack Dempsey. That's my brother Sylvester. What's he got? He's got a row of 40 medals on his chest, big chest, explored all the Arctic in his vest. He knows no rest. Bigger the arm, stronger the punch, hellfire, son of a gun. Don't push, just shove, plenty of room for thee and me. He's got an arm as big as a leg, a lady's leg, and a punch that will sink a battleship, big ship. It takes all the army and the navy to put the wind up, Sylvester. So that's where I got my first name from. I won't tell you where the surname. Thank you. The McCOY bit, I'm not going to tell you. It was a rude joke. I'll tell you after 9 o'clock.
Is there anything you kept from the set of Doctor Who that is still very dear or close to you?
Well, very expensive. Yes, it is very dear. It's very expensive. Yes, I've got the umbrellas, the original umbrellas. They're a bit dilapidated. I had the costume. The reason why I had the costume was they gave me the costume to do public appearances. And then when they put it into hiatus, they forgot to ask for it back. And I forgot to give it back. So I've got that, yes. And I've also got the spoons that I played on Kate O'Mara's front in the first episode. Right, okay, there's someone along here. Coming through. Hello, Blue. Hello, Blue.
So first of all, great outfit. And I wanted to ask, for you as an actor, what is your favorite part of getting into a role? Like, is it the costume or the makeup or meeting your teammates?
Yes, that's an interesting question because there are many different ways. I mean, I know one of a great British actress who never felt the character until she put the shoes on. Then she put the shoes on, she was. But for me, what is it? It's kind of, I don't know how to, it's getting out there and being in front of an audience and getting that first reaction, whether it be a laugh or a sigh or a cry. That's the bit, then you start to fly. Hey, that's poetry. Hey, buddies, you're going out there in front of an audience, whether they will sigh or cry or fly. Then get off the stage, McCoy. Okay, I'm off. Yeah, no, that's the bit I like, really. Oh, coming through, getting near to you. I don't know. I am sitting down. It's mine. It's mine.
I didn't want it anyway.
I
have a two-part question. First question, have you any plans for your time here in Austria, other than this weekend?
Sadly, no, because I've got to fly out on Monday. We finish on Sunday. So I'm going to go to a restaurant and eat some, kind of, but there's another one which I love. I had it in Vienna. It's called, I'll tell you in a second. It's something, oh yes, Tafelspitz.
Tafelspitz.
Oh.
It's full beef.
Yeah.
The Emperor's favourite.
The Emperor? Yeah, but he's dead.
The second part of the question was, any plans for your 80th?
Any plans for my 80th? To try and live that long. I've only got 3 months, I think, or 2 months. And then I'm going to be 80. It was weird. This year, I woke up as if in the morning, and I thought I must have climbed into someone else's body, because I realized I'd entered my 80th year. But I can't deny I'm old. I mean, you can't say I'm 80, I'm still young. You can't, I'm old. And suddenly I realize I'm an old man. I don't know where it happened, it just suddenly hit me. All those years, I was not realizing I was...
Guys, I really... Sylvester, wait a second. I really hate that I have to be the party pooper, but my watch is a very, very bad watch, and just tells me that all good things must come to an end, even amazing things just like this panel. Sylvester McCoy, thank you so much for doing my job as well. I hope I still get paid.
I get double pay.
Thank you so much for doing this panel with us. This is your applause, the amazing Sylvester McCoy!
Thank you.
And to everyone who is still here tomorrow, we will have just as an amazing a show tomorrow as we did today. Thank you, Sylvester!